Episode 3, we got Gushing farting here with us, breaking down ball. I mean, we might as well just let Gushing, speak his.
Dive right into it.
We
Yeah,
might as well start with the last trade, huh? Let's talk about this Ricky P versus Golden.
I mean, I'm trying to stay unbiased in this. We got both, teams in here. Chip and myself, Butch, I moved Ricky Pearsall for Golden. I mean, Cam, if you want to talk about why you're trying to acquire Ricky Pearsall, go right ahead.
My thought process here was if I looked back in a year and Golden was as good as Ricky Pearsall, I would consider that a hit. So it was a safe trade. You could argue the upside. I believe in Ricky. I'm a needy team, man. I'm a needy team. I got a lot of young talent, a lot of potential, but potential gets coaches fired. So we had to go and get some proven production. So I went with White Boy Rick. Yeah, Carlo, whatever you want to call him. I'm happy with the trade. How do you feel, Bud?
On my side of the tracks, it's just a luxury for me to, acquire a guy like Golden. I think maybe Golden has a higher ceiling. What am I going to do with Ricky? I mean, I could throw him in my lineup week to week, but I can let Golden sit there and maybe blossom into a star. Packers hadn't taken a first round receiver in 20 something years, almost longer than I've been alive. So when they take a stab at Matthew Golden, I got to start thinking maybe they're going to be right. And I want to get, a share of him.
I mean, Gushing, where are you at on the trade? If you had to pick a winner, obviously, before things played out, what's your heart telling you right now?
I think I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall as a winner on this one. We're looking at rates and beating man and zone. We're looking at Pearsall. We got a 33.6% against man, right? 52.4 against zone. Now let's take it over to Jaden Reed, huh? 9.2% win rate against man, 52% against zone, and now you're gonna throw in Golden into the mix. Just seems like a lot of town over there in Green Bay versus San Francisco.
Good point. Good point, Gushing. I mean, neither here nor there on competitive shares. I'm thinking you got a bunch of young receivers in the coop over there in Green Bay, and you go and grab Golden in the first round. Something's got to add up here. And I'm not a major Jordan Love guy, but I know one thing: the kid loves to huck it down the field. And Golden was I think leading the college department in explosive plays over 20 plus yards down the stretch. So I think he's a big play guy, maybe boom or bust, but with the kind of roster I got in the meat market right now, it's a luxury to sit with Golden on the bench.
I do like that take, especially when you look at the QBR rating for Jordan Love when he was targeting Reed. He was number 1 in QBR. And you look at Purdy when he was targeting, he's still only at number 17 with 116 QBR. So there is a lot of upside with Golden for sure.
It's give and take. We'll see how it pans out. I also like to scratch the back of these league members, just so they remember, what I did in the past for them. Maybe they scratch my back, but don't forget, I'm always looking to do fair trades in this league.
Just a good exchange of value here.
Exactly.
Now, we've got a lot of trades to break down. I do want to give Gushing the opportunity. I mean, before we go further into these trades, are there any league members?
Any grievances?
Yeah, any grievances you want to air here? I mean, call your shot right now. This is your moment. What do you got to say?
I don't know. There's this guy in our league, and for some reason he's got BTJ, and he goes and drafts Travis Hunter, and I don't know where he's getting at over there, and why won't he trade BTJ?
Hey Chip, before you dive into this one, let's keep it simple. Where's your head at? Are you believing in both? Are you gonna liquidate later, or are you riding Trevor Lawrence into the grave over there in Jacksonville?
The expression I like to use is, if you bought a Ferrari, would you get insurance? Brian Thomas Jr. is a Ferrari. All right. There's only so many out there. It's hard to get your hands on one. And when you get one, you don't really want to drive it too much. You do, but you don't. It's a double-edged sword. So when I see an asset like Travis Hunter cross my plate there at the 1-2, another generational prospect, I say, well, my team certainly didn't get worse from drafting him. And if it happens that one of these guys ends up being a wide receiver 2 high end, maybe something like a T. Higgins in terms of production in a couple of years, I feel good about where I can get them off in the market. And As for Trevor Lawrence, hey, look, there's 300 vacated targets over there. They got to go somewhere. So just get it up to Travis Hunter, huh?
Time's ticking for Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. If Liam Cohen can't get this figured out and make the prince that we all thought he was going to be coming out of Clemson, then I mean we're pretty much doomed. And Jacksonville's looking into a rebuild with all the young players they got. I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence can work out. Let's hope he stays on the field. But I'll tell you one thing: if he's not a top 10 quarterback in fantasy football, then uh, I don't think Travis Hunter nor BTJ will be top 15 at the same time. That's just where I'm coming from. You could look at the numbers, you could crunch them down, but if Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw 30 touchdowns, I mean, you can't tell me Travis Hunter and BTJ are top 15 receivers.
I mean, look at
We'll
Mars
see.
too last year. I don't know. It's going to be hard for Travis.
We'll see how the chips fall over there for $1 million Miltons.
Speaking of Joe Milton exchanged for 2 second-round picks. I mean, well, break down your decision to come and acquire Milton when you see an asset like that on the open market. What's going through your mind?
Just bought in, hate Dak. Think he's going to get injured per every other season. And I like what I saw during that one start last season. And I think that if I don't buy in now, that the price is just going to be way too expensive when Dak gets hurt. And
Okay.
that's what is 2 rounders to me when I can go get a guy who has a chance to start.
So on your side, you're thinking, you're foreseeing the future, for lack of a better term. You're thinking if Dak goes down, Milton's costing more than what I just paid for him. So it's more so a bet against Dak Prescott, rather a bet on Joe Milton.
Yeah, 100%.
Got you. So we're anti-Dak over there in the Gushing and Farting Club. Notate that. I mean, it's crazy because if you rewind the clock back far enough, we're looking at a manager that moved CeeDee Lamb, and then 4 months later comes and acquires a Joe Milton. So
I don't think I sell CD if Joe is there, though, to be honest. If Joe is there, I don't sell CD.
partial. That's perfectly set up. You sold a CeeDee Lamb betting against Dak again, so we see some consistency over there, with Gushing and Farting betting against Dak at all chance he gets. I respect it to a certain degree. A little expensive on the price for Joe Milton. I kind of feel like, the manager's selling for that much value. You kind of got to look in the mirror and say, am I being honest with myself, or am I selling this guy too high? Was it you, Chip, who sold Joe Milton actually?
It was me who did sell Joe Milton. Now listen, we could talk about what the price is on a Joe Milton, and I, I think Joe Milton set the market week 16 last year against the Bills when he laced one to booty wide open, and he put on
Booty wide open.
masterclass, an absolute masterclass. And again, you look at who where Tyler Shuck goes. I think it goes 3.9, right? Granted, he's going to have a chance to get on the field. So I think a reasonable exchange value for Milton is anywhere for, and that was pre Derek Carr, right? So now it's probably early third. I think anywhere between that second to third round is relatively reasonable for Joe Milton. Sometimes you got to give up premium assets to go get him.
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
everybody's available for market.
just in defense for Gushing, we're looking at 2020. Dak only played 5 games. Comes back 2021, plays 16. That's great. Comes back 2022, only plays 12 games. 2023 plays a full 17 games. Ended up QB3 in PPR leagues. I think that's 4-point passing touchdowns. And you know what happened last year? Gets hurt. Only plays 8 games. We'll see what happens coming into this season. Looking at 31 years old, Dak Prescott. I don't know, man. I think if he fixes his warm up a little bit, he might stay on the field a little longer.
Could Joe Milton be the Josh Allen of Joshua Dobbs's? Is that
Whoa! He could be he could be the prime Cam Newton of Joshua Dobbs's. If
I
you're
think
breaking
that's
it
in his
down.
range of outcomes.
Yeah, I mean he could pull a rabbit out of a hat. That's for sure. I saw him throw the ball in shorts and a t-shirt, and oh my god, the guy threw it maybe 85 yards in OTAs with no sweat. So he's an athlete. He's doing backflips and stuff. You gotta love the entertainment. Sometimes in Dynasty, you just got to go get a guy that's kind of like your mascot. He's kind of just like he's a pivotal piece to the whole squad. You look at your roster and you get excited about what he might not be in your starting lineup every week or maybe ever, but when you look at the roster, you say, this gets me going. Something might happen. The chips might fall in my favor. What's the next trade we got that happened over the last couple weeks?
So we got a couple more trades, but I want to get to a call in real quick. Break it up. We got a call in. Evan Dodgen calling into the network once again. Let's let Gushing maybe break this down to start. Butch, fill us in. But here comes Evan Dodgen.
Hello there. Thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to discuss the quarterback battle in Indianapolis. And here are thoughts on the reports that Daniel Jones, QB1, coming out of the Colts training camp, heard Anthony Richardson is absolutely washed, and wanted to see if the pod agrees with that assessment. Thank you very much.
So that was Evan Dodgen calling in about the Indianapolis Colts quarterback situation. Where are you at on that, Gushing?
I'm gonna bring up a guy out of nowhere. His name's Riley Leonard. Yeah, I like that guy a lot more than both of those fucking dweebs. That's all I'm saying.
That's a
Daniel Jones probably ends up starting though, to be honest.
I was gonna bring up Riley Leonard, and then I thought, let's not get ahead of myself here. All right, they go out and sign Daniel Jones, who just lingers in the NFL. He's one of those guys that the NFL just they gravitate towards, and I don't know why, honestly, to be honest with you. Neck injury, knee problems for Daniel Jones, but on the other hand, you got Anthony Richardson, who's hurt the same shoulder since high school. I'm talking in high school, hurts the throwing shoulder, goes into college, hurts the throwing shoulder. In the same breath, Anthony Richardson probably played the least amount of QB snaps at the college level for any first round QB ever taken in NFL history. So we got an unexperienced guy at the helm with a jacked up shoulder. I mean, I've seen some people on the internet talking about maybe we need to think of Anthony Richardson, not a true QB, maybe a Taysom Hill type of guy, kind of thrown in the mix on packages. Absolute dumpster fire right now. I could care less. But on Evan's point, I know he's sitting with Daniel Jones on his bench and he's thinking, do I sell this guy? Is anyone going to buy him? Do I maybe get a little crazy and sell Jordan Love or Herbert and throw my Daniel Jones in for the season, considering, Dodd's not competing for a championship right now. So he can afford a fill-in spot, for Daniel Jones to help him tank this year, really, if we're being quite frank. I don't think Anthony Richardson starts more than 4 or 5 games this season. And even if he does, he's probably going to go down with that shoulder once again. So, Chip, where are you at with the Indianapolis Colts?
Daniel Jones' revenge tour runs through Indianapolis. Right?
We've heard it before. Yep.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. Daniel Jones reminds me a little bit of Sam Darnold. Okay, I'm not saying that this guy's going to have a resurgence and go to the NFC Championship, but I don't think it's out of his range of outcomes to have the best year of his career in Indianapolis. I mean, if you look at what the Giants had, it was utter dog shit. And if you look at what the Indianapolis Colts had, well, they went to the playoffs with Minshew a year ago. So if you're looking at what Daniel Jones had, he's just got to put the ball in their hand. That's it. Just don't sail anything. You don't have to win us a game. Throw it to the playmakers in space.
Tons of weapons. They go out and grab Tyler Warren in the first round. They got Pittman, a true X receiver. Josh Downs, one of the best separation rates in the NFL. You got Alec Pierce, stretching the field when need be. Jonathan Taylor. They got more pieces than the Giants ever had with Daniel Jones.
To throw in one idea here. Oh, no, please, go ahead, Gush.
How much do you guys think this is all related to Andrew Luck fucking that organization, though? Like, absolutely screwing them.
I think it goes down.
Do you think if Andrew Luck doesn't do this to them, they're still in this situation right now?
It could be some ties to Andrew Luck pulling that ejection seat a little early for his career, but at the same time, I think it goes back to rest in peace to the Colts GM who has passed away recently. But I think it goes back to him. I hate to put a blame on a guy that's not around anymore, but the organization has been a mess for a while, and there's not really been a direction for the Colts. I mean, they're bringing in head coaches left and right. Since Andrew Luck, they haven't had a true starting quarterback. That's been franchise mode for them. So I mean, I think they just kind of been leaning on Jonathan Taylor and seeing what they can get done. Their defense has been all right, stout at best sometimes, but nothing consistent over there in the Indianapolis Colts, which is sad because, like Chip has said in the past, that division fucking sucks. Just point blank. Period. Gushing, you got anything else? What do you got queued up for this? I want you.
Kind
I
of
want.
back on the Cam train. Why take Fannin, dude? Why? What's the point? You got Njoku and Fanning. Who does this?
Gushing,
This
come
guy
out.
just loves. This guy loves double dipping.
I came on here to just roast Cam. Did I say, yo, let me get on the network. I got some shit to say. Hey, yo, Cam, what the fuck you doing over there?
I can't
Oh,
have all that
shit.
talent and not try to trade, man. I'll be giving generous trades, taking L's on trades. I
I
hope
think it was,
Drew watches this because I have something to say to that
there's
guy.
no way Drew watches this.
That's fair. The only people I respect in this league right now, get out there: Nick Friedel, Kyle Lark, Riley Gary.
Fucked. Sorry about that. Some technical difficulties over here in the meat market. What's next on the trade block, Chip? We got a call in from G Money Meyer, I heard. He's asking questions.
We got a text response from G Money Meyer. What is Caleb Williams' ceiling and floor this year with Ben Johnson at the helm?
Fucking moon.
The moon. I tend to agree with what Gushing said. Just to reiterate, the moon is indeed the ceiling for Caleb Williams. Just looking at what Jared Goff at 29, 30 years old was able to pull off, we're talking about a pure pocket passer in Jared Goff. 2023 ends up QB7 in fantasy football. 2024, Jared Goff falls to QB6. You move Ben Johnson over to Chicago with a young Caleb Williams who can get mobile. He can move. He can get you a couple more rushing touchdowns than Goff did. So if all falls right, I would say QB5. QB5 may be the ceiling for Caleb Williams if it's perfect. Now, I don't think it's going to be perfect year one. We might be looking at QB5, 2026, the next season. Chip, I know you're the guy who pawned off Caleb Williams to a G Money Meyer and Katzen over there. What are you thinking? You got to have a reason why you got out of the Caleb Williams business.
Mostly just the state of the team. I wanted to acquire elite assets at other positions. I was a couple players away. I wanted to get Caleb Williams off at market, capitalize on some of the hype there. The Caleb Williams business is a volatile business. It's a brutal business to be in, and I didn't want to see that investment through.
Something wasn't sitting right,
No.
And just to go back to the stat line, when I was talking about Goff, he was throwing for 4,500 yards, 30 plus TDs. All right. Caleb Williams last year in his rookie season threw for 3,500 yards and 20 TDs. So we'd have to get 1,500 more passing yards out of Caleb and about 15 more passing touchdowns. If he's trying to touch what Jared Goff did. Now, I think that's possible with the weapons they have in Chicago. I think they just got to maybe work out the kinks. Players, learning the Ben Johnson offense, maybe the first couple weeks of the season are a little rocky. But I think sky is the limit for a young Caleb Williams who, former number one pick out of the draft. We all know the expectations that came with him.
Concern and worry is do we think they're gonna run a similar system that he was running with the Lions, or do you think he's gonna come out there try some new shit?
I think he's
and
humping the rock.
He's just gonna keep doing the same shit.
I think with the tools they had in Detroit, when you got a guy like Dan Campbell, hovering over your shoulder as a play caller, there's got to be some influence on handing the rock into David Montgomery as much as they did. And I don't think Ben Johnson. I don't think that run game was necessarily all Ben Johnson. There's got to be some motive from Dan Campbell to move with the team as they did. I think now Ben Johnson, the world is his. The world is his oyster. The league's on watch because he's over there in Chicago, and I think Ben Johnson's going to draw it up to let Caleb drop back and huck that rock about 35 times a game. Now, is that a positive thing? I guess we'll have to find out.
I think we've covered it. Good luck with the Caleb Williams business, man. I'm not. I'm gonna be
Before we move on, Chip, is there a little bit of regret in your front
no
office?
regret, no regret, man. Look, that trade. I'm trying to remember exactly how it shaped out in the draft for me. But that trade, man, it put my team in a better position than we were in before. You say what you want about Caleb Williams. We could talk about top 5 QB, top. He's probably going to average somewhere around 18, 19 points. That's probably realistic. And Justin Fields gets me somewhere around 15, 16. So when we throw all the bullshit out the window, we arrive at, well, I can get Fields for half the cost and 90% of the production. And that's where I'm at. Okay. As for Garrett Meyer, and I hope Caleb Williams goes up in flames. I'm just going to be honest. I don't want him to do well after I traded him. That's why I traded him. And beyond that, Garrett, I feel like you owe me here a bit. Please get in contact. We're waiting. The phone lines are open, and Drew Lascano, too. If we're just taking shots right now, Andrew Lascano, wake up. You're asleep at the wheel. I've been trying to acquire some talent.
If it's Nico Collins, I just want to make an announcement to the board here and to the rest of the league. Drew is not going to sell you Nico Collins. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's not selling the fucking. I'll give one tip this episode, and it's going to be this. This is my tip. If you're trying to acquire anyone on Andrew Lascano's roster, just wait until about week 7 of the season. All right, that's when the fire sale is really going to happen. I think he's going to, come to his realizations that maybe it's time to strip down this roster to the bones. But hey, we might edit this part out. I don't know.
A couple waiver additions that I think deserve.
Oh God, here we go.
Here.
The waiver names, man.
Give me your
favorite waiver name, Chip.
Efton Chism. Efton Chism, wide receiver out of Eastern Washington. He's playing in New England. I mean, what does that say? We've seen this story unfold a few times.
A lot of buzz,
brother. Where are you guys at on Efton Chism?
Gushing.
Some random cracker. I don't know.
I mean, when I'm looking at Efton Chism, Jesus Christ Almighty, you're gonna get a fine. We might be issuing you a fine. I got to talk to the players committee. But Efton Chism, I've been seeing a lot of clips. He's running sort of these 4-move routes and OTAs where the QB is going to get sacked by the time he gets open. I could give a rat's behind about Efton Chism. Maybe let me be wrong later. But when you're in a dynasty league with deep rosters, there's nothing wrong with picking up a guy like that and seeing what happens. Who knows? Who knows what he grows into? It's neat. That's the only word I got for it. It's neat.
That's fair. Yeah, I get it. It's hard to work hard when you're sleeping in silk sheets. The commish over here, he's coming off the heels of a championship run. Efton Chism doesn't move the needle. To the Evan Dodgens of the world, to the Andrew Lascanos of the world, if you can get an Efton Chism June 13th, if there's a guy out there with some hype on him that you get for $0, that's pat yourself on the back, man. For beating up the fucking scouting roads, for getting out there, for finding value in a market that lacks it, all right? But fair enough. That's your eval on Chism. I got another one for you guys. Andrew Lascano, not that one. We're talking about him picking up Kelel Mullings?
Correct.
Can we get a breakdown on Mullings?
Not much to say. I've been seeing some hype here and there on the internet, on the Twitter sphere, about a Kelel Mullings, but you got Pollard over there, you got Tajay Spears. I mean, it's just these NFL backfields, I don't see Mullings, surpassing a Tajay Spears or a Pollard unless all falls wrong injury-wise and Mullings can see the field. They probably will be running the rock a decent amount in Tennessee. Although, on the other hand, you're looking at sharp GMs like Riley Gary picking up Zach Ertz. I love that pickup by him. Zach Ertz was a tight end 7 last year, and you pick him up off the waiver wire. That's a great steal. One of my favorite pickups. Let me find it.
To break down this other white receiver.
Tommy Millott.
Riley Gary picked up Tommy Millott. Where are you at with that?
I freaking love this pick, man. If you don't know who Tommy Millard is, if you're scratching your head right now saying, who the hell is this guy talking about? Go watch the film. This kid's a goddamn athlete, former quarterback, all right, with absolute wheels on him. Gets drafted by the Las Vegas Raiders and gets converted to wide receiver. All right. Now, I don't know when he's going to see the field or if he sees the field, but we're talking about dart throws here, fellas. Throw your darts. All right.
We're talking about
This guy could be the next Hunter Renfro.
Hold on a second. Hold on. So we're going to hype up the converted running back from UC Davis, who's slower than molasses coming out of a cold can, over Efton Chism, born through and through wide receiver, dominator out of Eastern Washington. Do I need to remind you of Cooper Kupp? But this is the bias I want to point out on this network, guys. When you're breaking this shit down, there's guys like Riley Gary who get the benefit of the doubt, right? Riley Gary makes a move. I mean, we're acting like it's you know.
While we're on the Riley Gary tangent, go ahead, throw up that McCarthy trade. I acquired JJ McCarthy. All right, now I'm not gonna break it down. I'm biased, and you guys don't need my reasoning on why I did it. You look at my roster. I'm living a luxurious life in the meat market right now. I could pretty much do whatever I please, and hope things fall correct. So, what are your guys' opinion on me? Maybe overpaying for a JJ McCarthy.
Gushing.
Hey man, get your guys.
So I always liked Gushing, man. He's get your guys type of thing.
Not a hater. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Anything's possible. That guy, I don't know. He's got a weird mentality. Built a little different,
a little crazy,
which I think could pan out because of that aspect. He looks like he's made of glass too. At the same time,
they said that about Joe Burrow. So
yeah, he's made of glass.
Phenomenal trade. I don't believe in this 2026 class at all. But if you're Riley Geary, you still got draft capital. You can exchange that. I think it was a good trade on both sides, honestly. I think you only look back on this trade negatively if you actually make a pick with that 2026 first. I'd be selling it. I'd be selling it before people catch on. But what do I?
Tommy Millard got chip and shambles over there.
That's good shit. I mean, we got it. I think we maybe have.
I got just a couple commish things.
Yeah. I mean, we're missing one blockbuster that happened.
Happened to have both of the managers today on the network, myself and Gushing. Break down this trade for me, Gushing. You trying to get younger, you want to acquire some picks, maybe sell off some older talent. Where's your head at for moving Montgomery and DK Metcalf for Luther Burden, 2 seconds, and Ray Davis?
I'm glad you reminded me of the trade because I think I was high when I did that one.
Got him.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I want some young guys. I need some youth on the team, and I'm regretting the DK.
I could see you, seeing Aaron Rodgers in camp throwing his little flick and getting out of the pocket on boot passes. Big old DK Metcalf screaming down the field. For me, it's just me going all in. What am I gonna do with the seconds? I don't want to wait for rookies. I don't want guys that are going to get in on the field and give me points. So I went ahead and overpaid for those two guys. I think we lost Gushing. No worries. He's gave a lot of great input. I think maybe he's thinking about that trade right now. It's just a few things I wanted to touch on, as the commish. I tried, guys. I genuinely tried. I wanted to up the buy-in, up the stakes, up the ante. Fell through this season. I'll try again next season. That's all I can do. Maybe talk to the fellow league members, try to get some more buy-in out of them, convince them it's worth it in the long run, because I got a feeling I'm passing this league on to my kid.
The league looks like it's headed in a good direction. This is what I say. You measure a league not by the strongest team, but by the two weakest. And if you look at the two teams that finished last, they've got a North Star, they've got energy. It's a great sign.
Great point.
And if you want to get on the network and air a grievance or two, there's no better place to do it.
Come on. We accept anyone and everyone. If you want your cousin wants to get on the network and talk ball, so be it. Your dad wants to get on the network, talk ball. Happy Father's Day. To all those fathers out there. And if you're a father in this league, you might have had him young, but hey, kudos to you. I respect it.
Amen to that, huh? Well, I think that about wraps it up. Anything else you got to say before we hit the road? Anything else you want to cover?
Everyone get on the horn. Training camp's around the corner. All right. I want to emphasize training camp is around the corner. Next 8-10 weeks, there's going to be some injuries, some soft tissue, some rolled ankles. Is it smoke? Is it fire? That's for you to figure out and move accordingly.
Yeah, I have something to say to everyone in this league. If you're not trading, you're probably not gonna win. Like, just straight up, like, you're probably not gonna be anywhere even close to being considered a playoff contender. So I highly suggest that you make some trades. Unless you're the Nick Friedels, the Phone Romes of the league, the Riley Garys, maybe you're all right. But the rest of you fuckers are.
I got a feeling there's a specific name or two that you're holding tight to your chest that you're aiming that shot at.
A lot of these guys
All right,
double
we'll
dipping, having a lot of talent, but not doing nothing with it. I don't know. You can't start all of them. That's what I'm saying.
Can you, Gushing? You said a couple names there before we get out of it. I mean, you threw a couple names out there. Can you? They're kind of escaping me a little bit. For those of us in the back who couldn't quite hear you, can you give me a couple of those names again? You kind of mentioned them as if they were in a hierarchy. I don't know if I heard it right. Can you give me those one more time?
The Phone
said if
Romes,
you're
the
in the-
league, the Nick Friedels, the Riley Garys.
My memory, it's evading me. I just can't remember. Have those guys won anything? There's someone in, I know the Phone Romes ones, but there's a couple names in there. I'm just trying to remember what they won. I don't know. Look, I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. If you're not ready, if you're not beating up the scouting board, if you don't take this shit serious, I'm gonna eat you alive. I'm just letting you
Efton
know.
Chism.
Week 1, I'm coming for you, Friedel.
Efton Chism.
I'm ready. It's gonna be a great matchup. But there's gonna be no holes barred, no expense spared. We're coming for you. So get ready, stay ready, and that's about all I got for you.
Signing off. Meat Market.
Later, boys.
Chasing the sun.